Hello friends, my name is Aubrey. Welcome back to my channel. I'm so happy to have you all here with me today. So it is actually Thanksgiving night. I think it's like almost 10:30 at this point, but I wanted to go ahead and film this video because I'm going to be really busy over the next week or so, and also we're planning to put up the tree tomorrow, so I would really love to get these books put away sometime tomorrow morning. So today we are going to do my November book haul. So we're going to go through all of the books that I have acquired in the month of November. And I know that technically November still has 2 days left when I'm filming this, but I don't think anything is coming by Saturday. If it does, I'll just like insert a clip wherever it needs to be and show you guys then, but I don't think anything is coming. So, as usual, we're going to go through all of the books based on where I got them from, and we're going to start with a gift that I was actually given by my brother. So, you may have heard me mention in an earlier video that I went to Boston earlier this month to visit my brother with my mom and my stepdad, and while I was there, my brother and his girlfriend gave me a copy of Transatlantic by Colum McCann. So apparently his girlfriend really likes this author, and they had another, like they ended up with 2 editions of this book, so they thought that I might enjoy it, so they gave me a copy. Colum McCann demonstrates once again why he is one of the essential authors of his generation. In a soaring novel that spans continents, leaps centuries, and unites a cast of deftly rendered characters, both real and imagined, 3 iconic crossings between Ireland and North America are connected by a series of remarkable women whose journeys mirror the shape of history. The most mature work yet from an incomparable storyteller, Transatlantic is a profound meditation on a wide world that grows somehow smaller and more wondrous with each passing year. So I don't really know much about what this is about, but I mean, obviously from the synopsis, it has to do with transatlantic travel, so traveling across the Atlantic Ocean between Ireland and North America, and how this does our ability to travel long distances fairly quickly, especially, but just traveling those long distances anyway, because that is so easy for us to do, it does kind of make the world seem smaller. But I do agree that it also does increase the sense of wonder because it allows us to experience much more of the world than our ancestors ever got to. So I hope I really like it. They seemed to think that I will, so I'm looking forward to trying this. Then I got a few books from a used bookstore called Brookline Booksmith in Boston, because of course anytime my brother and I get together we have to go in a bookstore. So Brookline Booksmith is actually not entirely a used bookstore. The upstairs are all new books, but then downstairs they do have a used book section, and I will say unfortunately some of them were pretty pricey, I think, for the condition that they were in, but they did have some that were very reasonable. So the first 2 things that I got are these really cool editions of The Two Towers and The Return of the King. So these are the 2nd and 3rd books in the Lord of the Rings series by J.R.R. Tolkien. So this is now, well, let me say, if you're not familiar, it is one of my missions to collect as many editions of the Lord of the Rings as I can, because it's one of my favorite series of all time. And this is now my 3rd set that is missing the Fellowship of the Ring, which is quite unfortunate, but they're just so cool. And look at this lovely picture of the professor himself that they have on the back covers. But these editions are from 1973. That's really cool. But if you haven't heard of the Lord of the Rings, we follow a hobbit named Frodo Baggins who has inherited a ring from his uncle Bilbo, who raised him. And it turns out that this ring is actually the One Ring, the evil creation of the Dark Lord Sauron that he attempted to use to take over all of Middle-earth. And the One Ring is the one thing that can bring him back to his full power again. So Frodo has to go on a journey to try to destroy this ring, and it's very perilous and epic and wonderful, and he is joined by the best people. It's great. It is the most fantastic series. I love it so much. Then I got a few manga volumes for a series that I am currently in the middle of, and that is My Hero Academia by Kohei Horikoshi. So I got volumes 15, 16, 17, and 18. So these were the next 4 volumes that I needed in the series. And as I said, it is a series that I am currently in the middle of. It has been a while since I've read any more volumes, but I think that, you know, having more to read will hopefully help me get to them sooner rather than later. But I really do enjoy My Hero Academia. If you're not familiar with it, we follow Izuku Midoriya, or Midoriya Izuku, because in Japan, you put the surname first. So Izuku is in middle school at the start of the series, and they are trying to decide what they want to do with their lives, you know, going into high school and kind of choosing what school they want to go to. And all that Izuku wants is to go to UA because it is the best school for training heroes. Because Izuku lives in a world where most people in the world are born with a quirk, which is some sort of innate ability that gives them some sort of supernatural power. This can literally range from anything. Like, it can be anything. It can be that you glow. It can be that you have animal-like features. It can be that you are able to make yourself really strong or shoot lasers out of your eyes. It doesn't matter. It can literally be anything. The possibilities are limitless. And so some people in this society unfortunately use their quirks for evil, to help them steal, hurt people. You know, we get the idea, or we get the rise of the supervillain. And so in return, we then get the rise of the superhero. And all Izuku has ever wanted to be is a hero. However, Izuku is one of the few people who is quirkless. He doesn't have a quirk. And the quirkless are very much discriminated against by a lot of people. So Izuku has been told his whole life that he is never going to be able to be a hero because he does not have a special ability to help him. So the story, in the first volume, he has an encounter with his favorite superhero and the number 1 hero currently, All Might. And All Might is very impressed when he sees Izuku rushing in to save a classmate, even though he doesn't have a quirk, and decides that he is going to help him become a hero because he has a way for Izuku to get a quirk. And that's all that I'm going to say. If you haven't read this series or watched the anime, it's superhero origin story, and it is so much fun because just like this society that they live in is so cool because everyone just has all these crazy abilities or like crazy features, and it ranges from very mundane to very like fantastical, and it's really, really fun. So I'm really happy to have the next 4 volumes in this series. Okay, so now we're going to go through all of the books that I got from Barnes & Noble. So I think we only have 2 from Barnes & Noble this month. So the first one is Blood Over Brighthaven by M.L. Wong, and this is the first printing for the traditionally published edition. So it does have the red sprayed edges and a map on the end papers. I'm not sure if that's going to be in like the standard edition. And I think they said that there's, a diagram for some sort of device that will be important for the story. So this was originally self-published and has now been traditionally published. For 20 years, Sayona has devoted every waking moment to the study of magic, fueled by a mad desire to achieve the impossible, to be the first woman ever admitted to the High Magistracy at the University of Magics and Industry. When Sayona finally passes the qualifying exam and becomes a high mage, she finds her challenges have just begun. Her new colleagues are determined to make her feel unwelcome, and instead of a qualified lab assistant, they give her a janitor. What neither Sayona nor her peers realize is that her taciturn assistant was not always a janitor. 10 years ago, he was a nomadic hunter who lost his family on their perilous journey from the wild plains to the city. But now he sees the opportunity to understand the forces that decimated his tribe, drove him from his homeland, and keep the privileged in power. At first, mage and outsider have a fractious relationship, but working together they uncover an ancient secret that could change the course of magic forever, if it doesn't get them killed first. So This just sounds so fun, and I've heard so many people love this. Patrick Leo really, really loved it. It is also written by the same author who wrote The Sword of Kaigen, which I'm also very much looking forward to reading, and which also gets really high praise from people, so I'm really excited to try this. It sounds like dark academia with magic, and I'm very intrigued. Then the other book that I got from Barnes & Noble this month is The Teller of Small Fortunes by Julie Leong, or Leong. It's so pretty. Like, that is one of the most beautiful covers I think I've ever seen. Tao is an immigrant fortune teller traveling between villages with just her trusty mule for company. She tells only small fortunes. Whether it will hail next week, which boy the barmaid will kiss, when the cow will calve. She knows from bitter experience that big fortunes come with big consequences. Even if it's a lonely life, it's better than the one she left behind. But a small fortune unexpectedly becomes something more when a semi-reformed thief and an ex-mercenary recruit her into their desperate search for a lost child. Soon, they're joined by a baker with a need for adventure, and, of course, a slightly magical cat. Tao starts down a new path with companions as big-hearted as her fortunes are small. But as she lowers her walls, the shadows of her past close in, and she'll have to decide whether to risk everything to preserve the family she never thought she could have. So, cozy fantasy, beautiful cover, found family, magical cat. What more could you ask for, honestly? Alright, so I also got a few books from the Bookish Box and Shop. Is it? I can never remember if it's called the Bookish Box or the Bookish Box and Shop. But anyway, either way, I did get a few books from them this month. So the first one is A Tempest of Tea, which is the first book in, I think the series is called Blood and Tea by Hafsa Faisal. So it comes with this really pretty slipcover. Let me show you the back first. So the slipcover has the blood on it, and then the book itself looks like this. It's so pretty, and it has sprayed pages, end paper artwork. It is signed by the author, and then the art on the back end papers. And I'm not sure if there is a synopsis in this one. I don't think there is. Oh yes, there is. Okay. Why save the world when you can have tea? Oh my gosh, even the synopsis page is pretty. On the streets of White Roaring, Arthi Casimir is a criminal mastermind and collector of secrets. Her prestigious tea room transforms into an illegal bloodhouse by night, catering to the vampires feared by society. But when her establishment is threatened, Arthi is forced to strike an unlikely deal with an alluring adversary to save it, and she can't do the job alone. Calling on some of the city's most skilled outcasts, Arthi hatches a plan to infiltrate the sinister, glittering vampire society known as the Ethereum. But not everyone in her ragtag crew is on her side, and as the truth behind the heist unfolds, Arthi finds herself in the midst of a conspiracy that will threaten the world as she knows it. From the New York Times bestselling author of We Hunt the Flame comes the first book in a hotly anticipated fantasy duology teeming with romance and revenge, led by an orphan girl willing to do whatever it takes to save her self-made kingdom. So this sounds so fun. I love a good vampire story. I really do. And the Bookish Box and Shop makes just beautiful special editions. I actually got this book last month in October, but I had to send it back because the slipcover was unfortunately damaged. But they were very kind and sent me another one with very little effort on my part, which was incredibly nice. Very good customer service. But yeah, I love a good vampire story, and this one sounds really fun because we also have a heist and possibly like a conspiracy, a mystery. I don't know. I just think it's going to be really good, and I'm really excited to try this one. And then the other thing that I got from the Bookish Box is a series. So this is a series that I have wanted to read for quite a while, but I didn't really like the US covers that much. I really liked the UK covers, and they're very hard to find, in hardback especially. But then the Bookish Box announced they were doing a special edition set of it, and so I pre-ordered them because I thought they were really pretty. But that is the Davabad trilogy by S.A. Chakraborty. So we have the first book, The City of Brass. And I just love the designs of these. And here are the sprayed edges. And I think the top and bottom are just the same. But I've mentioned before in videos that I really like a Middle Eastern setting. I love a good desert. I just think it makes for really beautiful scenery, beautiful clothing, really interesting cultures. Here is the back end papers, or the, not end papers, the back of the dust jacket, which is also really foiled. But I just really love a Middle Eastern setting. Here's the naked hardcover. So much foiling on these. And this one just sounds so fun because it's a Middle Eastern setting with gin, and the back end papers are the same. And it is signed. Then we have the second book, The Kingdom of Copper. Then the sprayed edges, and again the top and bottom are the same. Art on the other side of the dust jacket. Then the naked hardcover. The end papers. And again, it is signed. And I do still love the UK cover art. Like, I do still think it's pretty, but I will say the Bookish Box and Shop did a really good job with these. I really like the aesthetic, and here we have the third book, The Empire of Gold, with the portraits being slightly darker in tone, and kind of like shadowing out their features, like their eyes. So there's the sprayed edges. And then all of the foiling is gorgeous, and I love that they went with gold foiling, although I do kind of wish that they would have done brass, silver, or brass, copper, and then gold. Copper, right? Yeah. I mean, I guess that would be kind of hard to differentiate in your foiling covers, but I don't know. And then I also really like that the end papers have the same, like, lion motif. Winged lion, but the sort of design, what's going on with the lion and the coloring changes each time. I just think that's really cool. And again, it is signed. So since this is a series, I'll just read the synopsis for book 1. Nari has never believed in magic. Certainly she has power. On the streets of 18th century Cairo, she's a con woman of unsurpassed talent. But she knows better than anyone that the trades she uses to get by, palm readings, czars, and a mysterious gift for healing, are all tricks, both the means to the delightful end of swindling Ottoman nobles and a reliable way to survive. But when Nari accidentally summons Dara, an equally sly, darkly mysterious Jinn warrior, to her side during one of her cons, she's forced to reconsider her beliefs. For Dara tells Nari an extraordinary tale. Across hot, windswept sands teeming with creatures of fire and rivers where the mythical Marids sleep, past ruins of once magnificent human metropolises and mountains where the circling birds of prey are more than what they seem, lies Davabad, the legendary city of brass, a city to which Nari is irrevocably bound. In Davabad, within gilded brass walls laced with enchantments, and behind the 6 gates of the 6 Jinn tribes, old resentments run deep. And when Nari decides to enter this world, her arrival threatens to ignite a war that has been simmering for centuries. Spurning Dara's warning of the treachery surrounding her, she embarks on a hesitant friendship with Alizade, an idealistic prince who dreams of revolutionizing his father's corrupt regime. All too soon, Nari learns that true power is fierce and brutal. The magic cannot shield her from the dangerous web of court politics. That even the cleverest of schemes can have deadly consequences. After all, there is a reason they say to be careful what you wish for. It just sounds so good, y'all. It sounds so good, and we have a setting that I love, and it's in Egypt to boot. I'm very excited. I kind of feel like maybe my haul and TBR videos should just be turned into a game to see how often I say the word excited. But anyway, now let's go over the books that I got from Books A Million, and we do have a little stack here. So first, I did get some Cosmere books. So I have Arcanum Unbounded, the Cosmere Collection by Brandon Sanderson. So this is, as it says on the front, fiction from the worlds of the Cosmere. So this has novellas and short stories all taking place in his big interconnected series called the Cosmere. And I've only read the first book in this series so far, which is Elantris, which is a standalone within this bigger series. So far, I think he's planning to write another book in that world, but I could be wrong. But the next thing that you're supposed to read, because I do love to read series in publication order. I know there are a lot of preferred recommended readings and things, but for me personally, I like to read in publication order so I can see how the author has developed the story. And so the next thing that I need to read is in here. So now that I have this, I can read that next story and then move on to Mistborn, which coincidentally are the next two books that I have to show you. So I already own The Final Empire, which is the first book in the original Mistborn series. I think it's called Era 1. And so when I made this order, I did also, in the same order I got Arcanum Unbounded, I got the next two books in that series. So we have Book 2, The Well of Ascension, and Book 3, The Hero of Ages. And I just really love these editions. I think the cover art is so pretty. I don't really know much about what Mistborn is about. I know that we have people who are able to use certain abilities based on, I think, like they eat metals or something like that. I'm really not sure. But I know that I really loved Elantris and I want to continue the Cosmere, so I'm basically like preparing my TBR to do that. And I'm, once again, really excited for it. Then I have a manhwa, which is essentially like a Chinese manga, if you're unfamiliar with the term, that I've actually already started reading, and that is Volume 1 of I Ship My Rival X Me, the comic, by, so the original light novel is by Peppa, and the art is by Qualia, so it's being adapted into a manhwa by Qualia. To ship or not to ship, Wei Yanzi and Gu Yiliang burst onto the acting scene together, igniting a rivalry fueled by their shared debut. But while Gu Yiliang dazzles with his acting prowess and idol-worthy looks, Wei Yanzi finds himself in the shadow with only his striking appearance to boast. Amid the barrage of online hate from Gu Yiliang's fervent admirers, Wei Yanzi's patience wears thin. When Wei Yanzi stumbles upon an online community totally convinced there's a romantic entanglement between the two actors, he is initially shocked, but soon finds solace in their speculation as he immerses himself in their discussions. Though their relationship is purely professional, Wei Yanzi can't shake the growing sense that maybe the shippers are onto something. As he spends more time with Gu Yiliang, lines blur, and Wei Yanzi begins to wonder if there might, after all, be truth behind the fan-fueled fantasies. So as I said, I have started this. It is really cute so far. Most of it is from Wei Yanzi's perspective, but we do get some chapters from Gu Yiliang's. I hope I'm saying those names correctly. I've said this before, but often in these English translations, they don't put the accents on the pinyin, which is like the way to write Chinese characters using English letters. And it's hard to know how to pronounce them without the accents. But it's really, really cute so far. It's really funny. And It's in full color, which is really nice. And it's funny because they're acting in a like period drama. So a shinsha. They're acting in a shinsha drama in this. So you keep seeing them like in ancient style of clothing and with long hair and like, you know, pretending to have magical sword fights and stuff. It's just really fun, but it's also, like I said, it's just really cute. And it just shows like what shipping is like shipping two characters or whatever online from someone who has never done that before and is suddenly finding themselves kind of immersed in that. And it's just it's really cute. I really like it so far. Okay, then the next thing that I got is Pictures by J.R.R. Tolkien, and this was actually compiled and put together by his son Christopher Tolkien. So this has been released in previous editions, but this is the new edition that they've released, and essentially this is a collection of illustrations that J.R.R. Tolkien did, and there he is, for the world of Middle-earth. So I'll show you an example. Like here we have part of the Shire, so this is Hobbiton, and you can see Bag End up here at the top. But it is just a collection of these drawings that he did, and Christopher Tolkien compiled them and did commentary on them to explain what's going on, when it was drawn, that sort of thing. And I just, as someone who loves Tolkien so much, this was on sale for like 50% off, and so I got it for myself. Then the next book that I have, I also got for 50% off. So Books A Million was sending out all of these things last week about their big Black Friday sale for members over the weekend before Thanksgiving, and it was only in store, and they were like, there will be hundreds of books that are 50% off, and I went in, and I will say the selection was quite disappointing, but I did manage to get one book, which is The Doors of Midnight. This is the second book in Tales of Tremaine by R.R. Verdi. I have not started the series yet, but I have heard it compared to The Kingkiller Chronicle, or at least the first book, The Name of the Wind, and so many people seem to enjoy the first book, and so I'm really excited to try it. And so since this was 50% off and I had gone all the way to the mall for the sale, I did get it. Just so I would have it when I start the series, and I'll have book 2 as well. So I can't read the synopsis for this one. I do know that it's told like from a first person perspective, and I think much like the Kingkiller Chronicle, our main character is telling their story like from the future, so they're explaining all of the things that they've done that have made them famous, and that's really all that I know about it. But again, Patrick Leo seems to like the series, and I feel like I trust his taste in books, typically, and it sounds like something I'm really going to enjoy, so I went ahead and grabbed that since I was there anyway, and it was 50% off. Alright, I have 2 more books from Books A Million, and they are both from the same series, and that is The Hidden Witch and The Midwinter Witch. These are the second and third books in the Witch Boy series by Molly Knox Ostertag. So in this series, we follow Aster, who comes from a family of magic users. But in his family, traditionally, only the girls are allowed to become witches, while all of the boys become shapeshifters. But Aster is really fascinated by witchery, and he wants nothing more than to become a witch. That's all he wants, and that's what he's good at. He's not able to shapeshift. He just wants to learn to be a witch. But his family doesn't understand this desire, and they don't allow him to do so. So he tries practicing on his own, but he finds out that there is something that is snatching his male cousins away, because it is like a big extended family that lives together. And so he is trying to figure out what is going on, who is taking them and why, and perhaps his magic is the only thing that can help to save them. So I read the first volume in October, and I really enjoyed it. I think it was October. May have been September, but I'm pretty sure it was October. And I really enjoyed it, and so I got the second and third volumes, and because Books A Million had this thing, that's why I placed an order, by the way, where you could get think it was 40% off your entire order. I think it was 40% on a specific day this month. And so I obviously partook of that sale. So I did get these. They're very, very short. They are graphic novels and they are full color. And so I just thought I really liked the first one. I really liked Aster's character, and I really liked the messages about being who you are, and the commentary on like gender roles in society and stuff, obviously with a magical element to them. So I really want to continue this series. Alright, so we just have 5 books left to talk about. So we're going to go through the ones that I got from Crunchyroll. The first one is Volume 9 of the light novel of The Case Files of Jeweler Richard by Nanako Tsujimura. So this is a series, I've only read the first 2 light novels, but I have been collecting them kind of as they're released, and this one is really thin. It's really short compared to the other ones. I mean, none of them are long, but like, I'm looking at the other ones that I have yet to read, and this one is the thinnest one. But this series, we follow Seigi, who is a college student in Japan, and one day he saves a man named Richard from a mugging. And he finds out that Richard is actually a jeweler and has come to Japan to open a jeweler store. And Richard is so impressed by Seigi's honesty and heroism. Well, I guess before that, Seigi asks Richard to help him with an issue that he has with a ring that was left to him by his grandmother, who has sadly passed away. And Richard is just so impressed by Seigi's honesty and sense of justice and kindness that he offers him a job working at his jewelry store. So in the first 2 volumes at least, each chapter is like a different story about a different client and their issue. So it's about jewels and gemstones, but it's also about people and the things that they're going through in their lives, because Seigi can't help but get involved trying to help people. So I really enjoyed the first 2 volumes, and you learn some stuff about gemstones, which is pretty neat. But I feel like as we go, which tends to happen with light novels and manga series that start out pretty episodic, I think that as we go, there will start to be much more of like an interconnected plot line that we're following. So I do really want to continue this. So as I said, I've just been pre-ordering this series just as each new volume is announced. Alright, then the next 2 that I have are both first volumes in series. So this one is Volume 1 of the manhwa version of Dinghai Fusheng Records. So the novel is by Fei Tian Yexiang, and it's being adapted by Chen Arbai and LV Fei. LV Fei, I guess that's how you pronounce that. And I'll just read the synopsis for this one. It has been 300 years since magic disappeared from the divine land. Chen Xing is the last great exorcist, a young man with a tenuous grip on magic whose life is destined to end on his 20th birthday. As whispers about the return of the demonic entity known as Mara echo across the land, Chen Xing is burdened with a daunting task: to seek out his fated counterpart, the protector martial god, and together to save the world. Enter Xiang Shu, a condemned man with a haunted past. Accused of unspeakable atrocities, Xiang Shu is an enigma. Handsome, skilled, and facing execution for crimes he claims he didn't commit. As their destinies intertwine, Chen Xing and Xiang Shu embark together on a journey where the salvation of everything they know hangs in the balance. So, one of the reasons I'm excited to read this is because the author is the same author as, or the same author who wrote Legend of Exorcism, which I did watch the first season of the donghua, which is like the Chinese anime, if you're unfamiliar with that term as well, and really, really enjoyed it. And I was really sad that I can't seem to watch the second season anywhere. Legend of Exorcism has actually been picked up for an English release, like in the light novels, so I have actually pre-ordered Volume 1. And after this one was announced and I'd pre-ordered it, they announced the light novel, so I pre-ordered Volume 1 of the light novel for this. So I do think I will wait to read this until I read the first light novel, but it is a full color manhwa, It has some romance. It sounds like it's going to be pretty emotional. And I'm just really looking forward to it. Then I got volume 1 of a light novel series. So this is Lout of Count's Family by Yu Ryo Han. This is Korean, originally written in Korean, and I'm really not sure how to pronounce Korean names, so I sincerely apologize if I butchered that. Ever dreamt of waking up inside a novel? For Kim Roksoo, this dream becomes reality when he finds himself in the shoes of Kale Henetuse, the lazy, wine-loving son of a count, and punching bag for the novel's destined hero. Determined to dodge his grim fate, this new Kale Henetuse vows to rewrite his story, aiming for a life of leisure, far from heroic deeds and inevitable beatdowns. But the path to a peaceful life is twisted by irony. As Kale plots his escape from destiny, he inadvertently gathers a motley crew of magical allies, including a haughty baby dragon and 2 mischievous kitten shapeshifters. Every attempt to avoid heroism entangles him further in a whirlwind of unforeseen adventures, proving that sometimes the best heroes are the ones who resist the call. So this is an isekai, or what's the other term for it? Transmigration. So it's an isekai or transmigration novel where we have a character who wakes up in a fictional world, in this case a novel series that he is familiar with, and as is often the case in these, the character wakes up not as the hero, but as the villain, or at least as some form of antagonist, and attempts to change their fate. And I think these stories are so fun. They can be quite silly, but I'm okay with some silliness as long as it's... Unfortunately, some isekai in manga can be kind of lewd, but I'm hoping that's not the case here. And we have a baby dragon, so I'm excited to try this. I really am. I think it's gonna be fun, and I like a nice, silly, enjoyable isekai, so I just have a good time with them. Alright, so then the last thing that I got from Crunchyroll, and then I have one other thing to show you, is an art book, and that is Candy, the Shoharu Sono art collection. So if you don't know, Sasaki and Miyano is one of my favorite manga series. I mean, The Heroic Legend of Arslan is my favorite, but Sasaki and Miyano is one of my other favorites. Probably my favorite romance that I've read so far. I love Sasaki and Miyano so much, and this is the creator, the mangaka's art book. And yeah, I have been honestly thinking about buying this in Japanese for so long, but they finally released it in English, and I'm so excited. It has such beautiful illustrations, and it's got like cover art in it. So it has some of the cover art from the different volumes, and it's got just like really cute pictures of Sasuke and Miyano and Hirano and Kagiura. Like, look at them. It's so cute. I'm so excited to look through this. I love this artist's art style. I think it's so pretty and so soft and sweet. Oh my gosh, look at the gang in their clothes. Ah, it's so cute. Are they wearing yukata? Some of them are. Oh, that's so cute. I'm so excited to look through this. But Sasuke and Miyano is a romance story between our two main characters, Sasuke and Miyano. So Sasuke and Miyano are both in high school in Japan, and one day they meet and Sasuke is instantly smitten with Miyano, and they become friends. And then Sasuke confesses, and then Miyano is trying to figure out how he feels about Sasuke, and it's just so cute. So stinking cute. I love it so much, and I'm so excited to have this. It is much like a much bigger trim size than I expected. I do wish that it was in hardcover, but that's okay. I'm just so happy. I'm so excited to look through this. All right, and then the last book that I got in November so far, again, if I get any others, then if you like see any weird clips that have just kind of been inserted, it's because they came by Saturday, which is technically the last day in the month. But again, I don't think anything is coming by then. We'll find out, I guess. But the last book that I have received, and the last one that I have to show to you today, is from LitJoy Crate. So this is Secrets of the Dragon Sanctuary, which is book 4 in Fablehaven by Brandon Mull. And it is like a naked sort of embossed like faux leather cover, so I'm not sure how well you can see all of the details on it, and it's got gilded pages and really pretty end papers with dragons, so that's exciting. I have been ordering this series from LitJoy Crate as they release the different volumes, and it is signed by the author. Oh, and it's illustrated by Brandon Dorman. So there isn't a synopsis in these, I know, but and I don't know a lot about it, but I do know it's like one of those middle grade, young adult series where you have kids that discover that there is a magical world. I don't think it's portal fantasy. I don't think it might be. But I think the magical creatures are just kind of like hidden. But I know that they find out because I think it's their grandparents kind of help to protect these creatures and take care of them. And so they get involved with it. And I just love those kinds of stories. And this is one that I myself did not experience as a child. So I'm really excited to get the chance to do so now because I just think they're so cozy, and like this type of story just holds a really special place in my heart. So I really hope that I like this series. Hey guys, so it is a couple of days later, but I did actually get a package on the last day of the month from a company in China called Coon Books. And I did get 2 things that I had ordered from there. So the first one is the newest volume of the Heaven Official's Blessing manhwa. So full color manhwa. This is in Chinese. I am trying to learn Chinese, so hopefully I will be able to read these without a translator app one day. But this is the newest volume. I think it's either volume 5 or volume 6. I think it's volume 5. So there's that, and it did come with some goodies. We have this cute little art print of the cover, and then 2 little postcards. Look at little Hong Hong R. He's so cute. Then we got some stickers. Little chibi stickers. I'm not sure what they call them in Japan. I think it's like Q version or something like that. And then a bookmark, which we get a bookmark with every volume of these that matches the cover. And then there's this, and I'm not sure what it is. I already punched out the 2 parts from like the different parts, but I'm not sure how to put it together, honestly. But we have Hua Chong as a fox and Xilian as a bunny, and it's very cute, and I know it's supposed to be some kind of like standee or something. I just don't know how to put it together. So if anyone knows, please let me know in the comments, because I have no idea how to do this. And finally, they had multiple options that you could order these volumes, and they each came with a different like big extra, and I picked the one that comes with the acrylic standee. So we have this beautiful standee of the cover illustration with Xilian, and it is like 3D, so pretty. It's beautiful. Look at that. And then I also got the second set of the animation comics. And I'm sorry if you can see the little pine needles on the floor. We're currently working on putting up the tree. I mean, we have it up. We just have to put ornaments on it. So the library room is kind of a mess. That's why we're filming this like this. But I will go ahead and show you before we open this, because I already took a few of the things out. It came with these two little can badges, or like button pins, whatever you want to call them, Xilian and Hua Chang, which are so pretty. And I don't know how well you can see it. It's very shiny on the yellow gold parts. And then the blue, the dark blue as well. So, came with those. And it also came with this. And I'm not 100% sure if this is supposed to be a bracelet or if you're supposed to connect it differently and make a necklace. I'm not sure. But it is, sorry, one of the dice that Hua Chang uses and that he gives Xilian. So that's pretty cool. Okay. So then, when we open the box, look at it. Oh my gosh. It's so pretty. And I'll move this so you can just see. There's the inside of the box. It is beautiful. Let me tell you, the level of detail that Billy and just the people who make Heaven Official's Blessing, my goodness. The people who make products for this series are just, the attention to detail is insane. It's so, everything is so pretty. So then we have the goodies in here tied with a little green ribbon. So I suppose we'll untie this. And first we have this really pretty art print, and it is still in the plastic, but it's like an art board, I guess, of Hua Chang. It's really shimmery. Then we have this envelope, which I will open and show you what's inside. So inside the envelope, we first have these two little like character tickets. So we have Feng Xing Guoxi here, and then Hua Chang, and it matches the art board, but this one has a red background. Then we have, it says that these are supposed to be bookmarks, but they're like really wide for a bookmark. But these have like screen caps from the Donghua. And it's funny because this is definitely from season 1. So I'm not sure why they chose this image to include in the season 2 animation comic set, but this is definitely from season 1. Alright, so this set does come with 4 volumes, and these are the animation comics, so they're essentially like a graphic novel or manhwa created from like screenshots from the Donghua, so the animated show. But here we have the first volume, and they do have dust jackets, so underneath it looks like that. Then we have the second volume, and I like that these two connect. Sort of. I mean, they go together because they're both playing the dice game. So That's volume 2. Then we have volume 3, which the cover matches our artboard over here. And volume 4. Alright, so those are all of the books that I received in the month of November. Yeah, I have a lot of things here that I'm really excited about. But I would love to hear if you've read any of these and you want to hype me up for them. Just please keep your comments spoiler free. Or if you are really excited to check out any of these now that you've heard me talk about them. Or if I would also love to hear if you've gotten any books over the last month and what they are, and if you have any that you're particularly excited about. I really love to talk to you guys in the comments. And if you would like to leave an emoji, either with your comment, or if you just want to let me know that you were here and you just want to put an emoji or two down there, what should we do this week? Let's do some nice little stars, since I am filming this in the middle of the night. So we'll just have a nice little beautiful starry night sky down there in the comments. That would be pretty. But yeah, so thank you guys so much for watching. Next week we will return to part 2 of my winter book recommendations, which we have started for you guys last week. For me, we will start tomorrow, which is when that video will be posted. So the Friday after Thanksgiving. But yeah, so we will get to that next week. But for now, again, thank you so much for watching. I hope that you enjoyed this. I hope that you're having a wonderful day or a wonderful night wherever you are. And I hope to see you in my next video. Bye!